I buy it for myself, you know my head good and get run up. Boy, sunset till sun up. So, hey, I just want to fucking turn up. I build this one on a roadblock.
You feeling like a Friday? Only today feel like a Friday. It kinda feeling like a Friday. Is it Friday? Is that Friday? I see. It is. It is Friday. Yep. It's gonna be a good weekend full of rest because all of us lock up inside. Good morning. Good morning. It's a beautiful Friday morning. Yeah. Telling all you I have it locked down with a singing thing. Good morning. Bless up your whole selves. It is Friday, September 17th, 2021. Whichever platform you're using this morning to log on to Good Morning Grenada, appreciate you to the fullest. Thank you for your listenership. Thank you for your viewership. Thank you for your time. Thank you so much for your company. Bless up your whole selves. I trust you had a restful and peaceful Thursday night and you're ready to do Friday. It's a shortened Friday because curfew starting 5 p.m. and then after that outside close. So whatever you gotta do today, you gotta do it quick and in a hurry. Whatever you're doing, do it safely. COVID-19 protocols in place to the fullest because the thing coconius, not getting coconius and we reach the thing coconius. Good morning. Whatever platform you're using, Facebook, YouTube, the website, GBN TV, Classic 105, Party Grenada, Go to Fet, Woggle, it's Friday. Dash, bless up yourself on a song. You feel like a Friday, but it's not really a Friday because the Friday is not like all Fridays that have gone, let's say 2019 go back so, but feeling like a Friday. Let me go. It's time for Word of the Day. It's 21 minutes to 7 o'clock. Let's see what the word of the day is. This morning's word of the day is azure. Azure. It's spelled A-Z-U-R-E. Azure. It's an adjective which refers to of or having a light purplish shade of blue like that of a clear and unclouded sky. Azure. I used to pronounce it azure. So it's azure. Azure derives via Old French with the initial N and disappearing because of the confusion between Arabic and French grammar. A widespread assumption arose that this initial was part of the Arabic definite article, which means the, or that it was a Romance definitive article such as LE in French. Either way, Romance language speakers chopped the article off and accordingly, and the new spelling stuck, of A-Z-U-R-E. Azure entered English in the late 1200s or early 1300s. The word of the day this morning, azure, A-Z-U-R-E. It is an adjective which means of or having a light purplish shade of blue like that of a clear and unclouded sky, aka it's a color. It's one of the or I should say, it's like a kind of baby bluish kind of. You know, it have baby blue and then almost baby blue and a little past baby. Listen, this color spectrum thing that's just confused the mind and everything to me is baby blue. But either way, azure refers to one of those shades of baby blue. A nice, pretty baby blue kind of sky. That's what it refers to. It's also an official name for one of the colors on the blue spectrum, azure. That's the word of the day. Let me see if I can find an example of the use of the word. Neighbors recalled promises that the eerie Azure Lake, known as Little Blue, would be made into a recreational jewel, complete with swimming, bike trails, and sailboats. That's the word of the day this morning, azure, A-Z-U-R-E, an adjective which means of or having a light purplish shade of blue, like that of a clear and unclouded sky. Let's see what's the thought of today. And the thought of today reminds me of national unity, which is what we need right now. The thought for today: we may not have it all together, but together we have it all. We may not have it all together, but together we have it all. Grenada may not be going through its best time right about now, but together we can all get through this. Together we can all get through this COVID-19 wave that we are experiencing. The thing Coconius, 219 new cases recorded yesterday. Let me make sure. Lies. 232 new cases recorded yesterday. Our active cases are still over 2,000. We have recorded 46 deaths. We could get through this together if all man plays their part. Do what you need to do. Wear a mask, social distance, even if you're the Lone Ranger. But we all have to do it together. So we may not have it all together, but together we have it all. Let's come together. National unity. Fight this wave. Do what we need to lower the curve, to stop the curve, to stop the spread of the virus as much as possible. Whatever you need to do, whether it is getting vaccinated or just following the protocols, your masks, hand sanitizers, soap and water, social distancing. But we all need to play our part if we are to get through this as a nation. All right? So the thought for today, not just for today, I should say. We may not have it all together, but together we have it all. 473, Nutmeg Power. And that's why what we're celebrating today is another important part of it. Today, what is celebrated today is called Time's Up Day. Time's Up Day. But it's really about being the bigger person. Apparently, it's easy to drift apart with people over a little disagreement, especially people you enjoy having in your life. It usually starts small, a little disagreement turns into resentment, and both parties are left with nothing to say to each other. If you know you've been waiting to make up with someone close to you, this is a reminder that it's time to make amends. It is time to make amends. The way the thing going these days, you don't know if you'll have the opportunity tomorrow, please the Lord. There are people we say, you know what, I should call her. I should call him. Let me make up with my brethren, and then you procrastinate and say, okay, I'll do it tomorrow, please a lot. Tomorrow is not promised. The way the thing going right now, tomorrow is not promised for you, for me, for anybody. Do it today. Time's up. And it's evident today. 46 people have passed away, let's say in the last 45 in the last month, 46 in the last 9 months. Probably somebody in that number there is somebody that you always wanted to reach out to for a while, and you just haven't had the time. And there are people dying every day, not because of COVID-19 related issues, but other issues, and you just never know what it'll be like. Time's up. Make the call today. Reach out a hand, send a note, make a phone call. We can't hug and make up because we're social distancing, but we can call, we can video chat. Reach out. Time's up today. Make up with somebody today. Be the bigger person. Apologize if you need to, or maybe not even an apology, or you just haven't spoken to in a while, because life, let's face it, life gets in the way sometimes. Reach out today. Time's up. You just never know what tomorrow would bring, what happens tomorrow. So make that call today. And it's a lockdown weekend, ain't no way to go in and nothing to do. There's a good opportunity to do that. It's time for us to go to the news, but there are a number of pop-up testing and vaccination clinics across the island over the No Movement weekend, including the Sister Isle of Karakou today. There is also one at the Frequent Industrial Park playing field. That's down the stretch by the Industrial Park down there. That's from 12 noon to 3 p.m., I believe it is. Then there is one in Latan Junction, if not today, but it's on Sunday. There's one at the St. Paul's Community Center. Just need to be scrolling on social media, have somebody scroll for you. It's not on one specific page, so I can't find all the information at the same time. But just keep scrolling. There are pop-up clinics taking place regularly in different communities. Once I get the information, I will share it for you, but feel free to just scroll on social media. Somebody somewhere shares it, and that's how I've seen most of them. So if you're interested in getting tested and or vaccinated, the pop-up centers are available on the No Movement weekend. That's the only thing that's taking place for the weekend. Testing and vaccination. If you're not tested or vaccinating, stay home. All right? Now let's get ready for the morning edition of news. For those of you on radio and those of you on our visual platforms, highlights of last evening's newscast. It's feeling like a Friday. Good morning, Grenada. We'll be right back.
Need a quick, convenient way to pay your bills and avoid lines? Use the online banking feature from Republic Bank, First Caribbean, or Co-op Bank. Contact them today to set up your online banking and enjoy 24-hour convenience to make your bill payments. Stay safe. Grenlec, we are united even when we are apart.
Introducing Color by Seasons. 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 Color by Seasons.
Get Rubigas. Get cooking. Rubigas, clean, safe, and reliable LPG is the perfect solution for your commercial and everyday needs. For cooking at home or barbecuing, choose Rubigas LPG cylinders. Available in a variety of sizes from 20 to 100 pound cylinders. Rubigas LPG, clean, safe, reliable. Are you cooking with Rubigas?
Get Rubis, get going. My Digicel presents Hit by a How To. Here is how you can purchase a plan in the My Digicel app and get instant access to all of our apps. It's simple. Let me show you how. From your home screen, find the plans and bundles icon in the lower left corner of your screen. Tap it to see your available plans and bundles. You can choose between a Prime bundle with data and talk or pick a plan from the Available Plans tab. Find the plan that's best for you, then hit confirm and you're ready to go. With your new plan, you may have access to more of our apps. Find them in the More from Digicel section and hit download for each of our new apps. You can also upgrade your current plan or bundle under the Active Plans section of your homepage. Excited to try it out? Download the My Digicel app today. My Digicel, better together.
Was the leader of government business in the Senate simply doing his job, or was he trying to intimidate opposition senators? The latter is the narrative out in the public domain following a walkout from Parliament yesterday. However, while that narrative is being advanced, there's another school of thought. Our opening report tonight was compiled by Gerard Joseph.
Mr. President, the final piece for Senator Joseph. I'm picking on you.
This was the statement from Leader of Government Business in the Senate that sparked discontent during the debate on the Supplementary Appropriations Bill.
How Senator Steele spoke to Senator Joseph is of great concern to us. It is bullying. We are here to have a healthy debate, to agree and to disagree. We would like to withdraw our motion, and can we please ask the House to excuse us?
It led to a walkout of the Senate chamber by opposition senators, throwing the sitting into disarray as only 3 senators remained. This meant that the session lacked a quorum to continue. Opposition Senator Rolanda McQueen called into the Good Morning Grenada program to explain the rationale for the action.
Everybody said to me, Ms. McQueen, stay out of this. It is dirty. It's a dirty game. If you're not prepared to fight in the mud, don't go in. I could fight like an alley cat.
She elaborated on what she labeled as a lack of respect meted out to the opposition senators.
Well, I'll start with Senator McQueen. I'm not giving way, Mr. President.
Don't shout.
Senator McQueen, I thought I did not know where to start with Senator Joseph. I really don't know where to start with Senator McQueen.
That was Leader of Government Business, Senator Simon Steele. Senator McQueen said there is a distinct difference between education and bullying.
Grown people do not shout at each other. We discuss in Grenadian business. This is not a private business. We're talking about Grenada. This is not education. If you want to educate somebody, we are new senators. You sit down and you discuss, and then we all come to an agreement. Well, this is what is better for Grenada. You cannot come in there and say, well, I'm educating you and I'm going to shout at you. And listen, I had to put my hand on my head, and then one of the politicians going to turn around and say, get used to it.
Not everyone agrees with the stance adopted by Ms. McQueen and her colleagues. One of the followers of this morning's program contributed via text on the GBN social media platform. That person said, and I quote, "I listened to the senator's debate in full. I thought the Senator for Government Business responded firmly and directly to move the country's business forward. If the opposition had a strong point to make, they should have stood their ground and make better presentation. I don't know what kind of training and guidance new senators get when they arrive to the job, so perhaps this should be looked at and improved. In the COVIDious times, the country does not have time to waste. The person added, I just heard you ask Senator McQueen a question and heard her tell you that she has to go and take a phone call. Now this is why senators still had to make such a firm approach. In our democratic country, all of us benefit when Grenada has an opposition that takes its job seriously. And this is all I heard senators still saying. Do your research, get your facts right, and come to the Senate prepared. But like COVID is proving, the worst insult you can say to a Grenadian is that they need to learn something. We would rather die from the virus, or walk out, or pretend we have a phone call, rather than admit we don't know enough. I am Gerard Joseph for GBN News.
Bus operators on the island's east coast have gone into solutions mode. While others complain about the hardship, they've offered suggestions on how all parties could manage in this period. Kristalina John traveled to St. Andrew today and sent us this report.
The cry of the busmen is somewhat the same. Business is slow. If you look around here on the Grenville bus terminus, there are a number of buses. However, there are not much passengers. GBN scanned the area and held talks with some of the bus operators that ply the different routes.
Well, for the past 2 weeks or so, it's been really slow. It's just like, I don't know if it's because of the fear that is instilled in people, but, like the general public, people just not traveling for whatever reason.
It's really dead. Really slow. I'll even hear sometimes we want to go, I might get two to come down, sometimes I cannot alone come down.
Slow. Very slow, because I normally go to the terminal when 5 o'clock in the morning to get a space, and I get to Grenville like around 9, and most of the time it's like till 5 o'clock the evening I might get something to go back down to town.
It's slow, so I just take in a little back seat and watch the pace going,
Very slow, but we're jamming. We can't take any lockdown.
Some of them can be seen holding their hand sanitizers, ensuring protocols are in check. Here's how this driver treats with people not wearing their masks.
I don't picking them up. Okay. When people come on the bus, sanitize their hand. And some of them, after they drop out, they sanitize the seat.
In my bus, you must put on your mask. And you must wear it all the time, properly. I'm not wearing mine because I'm in my own space, trying to have some lunch. Yeah.
Are passengers conscious?
When you go on the bus, first of all, you go prepare on the bus, because you go on the bus and meeting passengers, you don't know who they are, who they mingle up with, or even where they come from. So the COVID could be within them.
Sanitize myself. Go have my sanitizer with me. Sanitize my hand. When I spray my hand like this, all up to here, all up to here. When I get home, if I take my clothes, the basket, I bed in the yard if possible, or straight back to my bed. That's what I do. And I drink a lot of hot tea during the day.
Meanwhile, one individual says he is confused and needs a straightforward response. He is not sure whether or not he should take the COVID vaccine based on his health.
I went to my doctor. I asked her if I could take the vaccine with the kind of complaint, because I have X-ray result from the X-ray. She said it's up to you to take it or not to take it. So I have no problem with them. Why she saying if you must take it and you must not take it? Give a direct answer.
One lady had this bit of advice to share.
What I like to advise the whole of Grenada, the next two sister eyes, Carrico and Petit Martinique, when we get out there in the morning, when you get back home, small as a child could be, as an adult, take a steam. And I believe everybody knows what is a steam. That steam, it will destroy whatever bacteria, whatever virus inside your nose, like your throat, it will help you.
From the Grenville bus terminus, where not much seems to be happening at this time, I am Kristalina John for GBN News.
Thanks, Chris. Always on the transportation beat. Government announced last week the allocation of a complement of 55 beds, but it's apparent that it's not just an addition of rooms. A public sector stakeholder thinks a separate hospital facility is needed to take care of people who are attacked by the coronavirus. Let's get the various angles on this from Rena Pear-Thomas.
Executive members of the Public Workers Union are clamoring for the removal of all COVID-19 patients from the General Hospital. They believe that an isolated building should be identified so that they do not endanger the lives of patients and healthcare workers. Public Relations Officer Daisy Hazard says that while they understand that the hospital could take in pop-up cases for screening, placing COVID-19 patients in the same building with unvaccinated persons with other illnesses is a recipe for disaster.
The COVID bays and units are in the General Hospital. Let me say that the PWU is adamant that COVID must be removed from the one little General Hospital that we have on the island in Grenada. It is a flawed decision in a hospital of our size, with the lack of resourcing, with the lack of specifications to our hospital. And we are saying it is not the best fit in a society as small as Grenada, with all our cultural norms and nuances, to have a deadly contagious disease being treated right there in the hospital.
As the epidemic takes its toll, elderly Grenadians reflect on the tuberculosis outbreak in Grenada in the early 1900s, when a special center was set up to treat those patients. A tuberculosis hospital was built in 1913 and inaugurated by Princess Maria Louise. Patients were not cared for at the island's main hospital at that time. Hazard says the present pandemic calls that a similar center be established to protect all parties. Last week, Health Minister Nicholas Steele said it was an evolving process and the government was trying to work out a strategy as the situation unfolded.
Familiar with Princess Alice, there's a male and a female section with the administrative and casualty in the middle. So on one side, we have turned that side into COVID, to treat COVID patients. And the other side we have crunched in male and female together there. That will continue as best as possible based on the load.
However, opposition activist Michael Batiste shut down the Princess Alice Hospital idea.
Now's the time that we must find the resources and we must engage the community, the building, the construction industry, and let us set up makeshift centers around the country and stay away from Princess Alice. Princess Alice, as it is overwhelmed.
She says healthcare workers face some acute challenges at this time, and the union is taking steps to assist its members who are designated as frontline workers.
One of the things we are doing now that we've been working on is we are trying to put together a care line for our workers. As to exactly how that will roll out, I cannot say this morning because we are looking at 2-3 models as to how we can provide our workers with some counseling support once they need it. And so that's one of the initiatives that the PWU is taking. Another initiative that we're taking is to help provide some care packages to our workers. So, for instance, where they are working on the 12-hour shifts in the COVID bay, we are going to try to provide them with some, tea bags and coffee and stuff like that, some little snacks, and so that they can refresh themselves within the event that they didn't come to work with some lunch, that they can pull something to chew on, as we say in Grenada, and hope that the government will definitely put some things in place.
Ms. Hazard was speaking on GBN's To The Point program. For GBN News, I am Rena Pear-Thomas reporting.
Not much is heard about one of the island's funeral agencies, which operates out of the capital city. However, the operators are stepping up to help families traverse a path never walked before. They spoke with GBN's Kristalina John today.
The management at Wayne's Funeral Service in Grenville, St. Andrew told GBN today that, as was the case with undertakers across the world, when the pandemic hit last year, they had to be prepared for the worst. Manager Joni Archibald told GBN in an exclusive interview today that they are up to the challenge.
I'm in disbelief because no one called to verify that or to ask us if we are equipped, because we are. we have COVID bodies, right? And we have a refrigerator.
Mortician Sean Archibald could not appear on camera as he was engaged at the time. However, he made the connection via telephone. Archibald said that they have been provided with the relevant protocols and are following these every step of the way.
The droplets come out from the nose and mouth. The person is now dead, so they're not breathing anymore. So one of the main factors we have to do after we disinfect the area is prevent any air from escaping their mouths or their nose. So we could do that by either injecting a disinfectant fluid into the nose and mouth to start. Then we pack the nose with cotton, and then we could still use a simple mask like what all of us using and put over their face, and then gently remove the body from the area.
The Archibalds have participated in training programs organized by a society of overseas embalmers who experienced the pandemic last year. He says this has prepared Wayne's Funeral Home to adequately handle the situation in Grenada.
Some of the funeral directors, the more prominent, well, not funeral directors, embalmers, the more prominent embalmers even do live online videos where not where they embalming, but where they're giving advice, answering questions, trying to reassure other embalmers that this is something that can be done. And there are funeral directors who have embalmed multiple cases and have never caught COVID.
Chief Executive Officer Wayne Archibald says over the years they have engaged with bereaved families so that they can get a sense of sending their loved ones home with grace and dignity. He says despite the regulations which provide for fewer numbers in attendance at funerals at this time, they remain committed to helping ease families' burdens in these trying times. Their one desire is that there is a level playing field.
What's the way that Wayne's Funeral Home is treated? I don't think we were handled properly, even before decisions were made. We haven't been consulted, or just after they do something that they consult us. See? But we are here in St. Andrews, and we have following, we have people that we work with, so we need some consideration. Well, I'm making reference to the Ministry of Health, and the government has respect is due.
Archibald says they are well aware that this is a trying time for all and have given the assurance that they are committed to helping ease families' burdens. Chrislina John, GBN News.
The daily numbers, COVID-19 cases in Grenada, they're not showing signs of reaching a plateau anytime soon. Figures from the Ministry of Health indicate that the numbers are climbing. The daily count, it is at 290 based on the latest statistic issued by the ministry. The death toll has now reached 43. Yesterday, the Royal Grenada Police Force announced that it had recorded its first death among its membership. This morning, reports surfaced that another police officer had also succumbed to the virus. Other communities are also beginning to track the numbers of their members being impacted either through illness or death. Today, the Pentecostal Assemblies of the West Indies lost 2 senior members. Pastor Laurie Maguire of the Shantymill Pentecostal Church died earlier today. By mid-morning, the church community was greeted with the sad news of the transitioning of Mrs. Yulin Marichal Belfon, the wife of Pastor Cephas Belfon, who pastors the Mount Morris Pentecostal Church. Pastor Belfon himself has been afflicted by the coronavirus and has been hospitalized for several days now. A time of trial and testing, and God's grace is declared on families across Grenada who have been impacted by COVID-19. The government of Grenada has declared September 25th and 26th National Days for Spiritual Reflection in recognition of the critical role of spirituality in dealing with the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. The government says it's encouraging all religious and community leaders to unite and organize special virtual activities for those days. Minister for Religious Affairs, the Honorable Emmeline Pear, says government recognizes the extremely important role of the religious community ministry in offering spiritual leadership and care to the nation as it faces the challenges associated with managing the spread of COVID-19. The declaration follows a call made on GBN's Beyond the Headlines program by Bishop Esther Jacob Baptiste for a National Day of Prayer.
Your hope is in the Lord. Psalm says, he that dwells in the secret place of the Most High. And a number of things has been outlined how God is going to deliver. God said to Solomon, when Solomon was building the temple, he says, I'm going to tell you, disaster is going to come upon the land. Plagues are going to come upon the land. Pestilence are going to come upon the land. But I've prepared a sanctuary right here so that when this disaster comes, and when the plague comes, you will come in this place and humble yourself and pray. And hear what? He says, I will hear from heaven and heal the land. Now, that is that's an absolute promise and truth that we must fall on. And of course, Odette, if we don't tell the people that, because people are not hearing anything else. And so they need to hear something else that will give them hope in the Lord.
Bishop Baptiste highlighted the critical role the church has played in the nation's welfare, both in good times and in times of crisis.
We need to make God our Lord. I am saying that the Prime Minister, when he was campaigning for election, this is not a target against the Prime Minister, but he quoted many scriptures in his campaign. Why? Because he recognized that God was the source of him coming into power in the first place. Now you're in power, and there is a natural disaster, and you're scratching your head. Your cabinet can't fix it. Your global and regional bodies can't fix it. Now is a time, critical time, to call the church and say, you know what? We need God in this. We need a divine intervention. And if we don't get a divine intervention, it's going to be worse. And that's what I'm saying simply. And the church has always been there in this whole rollout to save life and to negotiate. So it is not a correct statement to say that the church either anti-vaccine or we're not thing because some people have chosen otherwise. But we are saying that the church, as a general principle, has been working behind the scenes in the best way we can to alleviate this natural situation.
A reminder, September 25 and 26, 2 national days of reflection. Moving on, representatives of Grenada's 2 main political parties held discussions Thursday on fostering greater collaboration in addressing the COVID-19 pandemic and its current impact on the country and its people. They met with Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell yesterday. The meeting was attended by acting political leader of the National Democratic Congress, Adrian Thomas, Mr. Joseph Andel of the NDC, and Mr. Anthony Boson of the NNP. The meeting was actually held today. Thursday's meeting underscored the urgency of the situation and the equally urgent need for a collaborative approach to curbing the spread of the virus and addressing vaccine hesitancy among Grenadians. Discussion points included the quarantine period for fully vaccinated persons entering the country, increasing the number of testing and vaccination sites around the island to reduce the potential spread for crowded venues. The representatives also spoke about the need to establish a separate isolation unit for COVID-19 patients and improving the capacity of the COVID-19 hotline with support from telecommunications providers.
We've gone through a season of such darkness in this world with COVID-19. We've seen such terrible sadness. We've seen global death. And now we see a light in the tunnel with the vaccination programs globally. And, still the light is not totally bright. But I want to tell teachers it's a great time to be a teacher. It's a great time to be an educator. I want to tell children it's a great and a wonderful time to learn. And I think God has given us an opportunity to be in a different kind of learning space. And I think that we should take all opportunities that we have as we move into a new academic year, 2021 to 2022. I want to wish everyone the best. I want to ask God's blessings on our education sector. And I look forward to great and marvelous things coming out of all of this, even after COVID.
Are you looking for quality herbs and herbal supplements, or are you thinking about having a complete body cleanse to jumpstart your health? Then no need to look further. Visit Nirvana Natural Health Clinic, Detox Center, and Natural Health Store. We carry a wide range of herbal products for kidney and gallstone cleansing, male sexual enhancement formulas, asthma and sinusitis, gas and bloating, acid reflux, constipation, arthritis, imbalanced hormones, female health issues, liver cleansing, weight loss, and so much more. Also available, colonic irrigation, holistic health consultations, essential oils, and diffusers. Look out for our online natural health store coming soon. Call 231-6642 418-7115 or 449-7753 to find out about our delivery options or to book an appointment. Visit us at Belmont St. George's, close to the Fallage, Monday to Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Nirvana Natural Health Clinic. Detox your way to health.
Once upon a time, we shopped at Wonderland, then Neverland. But we're all grown up now and no longer believe in fairy tales. So now we just shop at Shoes R Us. At Shoes R Us, we stock the latest in shoes, tops, and jeans for the fashion-conscious lady. We also carry colognes and much, much more. And for the modern trendy male, we have the latest brand-name shoes and sneakers, Converse, Reebok, Nike, K-Swiss, Puma, and much more. So check us out at our two convenient locations, Melville Street in St. George and Ben Jones Street in Granville. At Shoes R Us, we say, come shop with us.
At Grenlec, we are committed to serving our customers. To help us serve you even better, please make an appointment for all non-payment services. Email customer support at grenlec.com, WhatsApp 405-6931, or call 237 for a service representative. Please provide your name, your account number, your telephone number, the service required, and the customer care center you wish to visit. We will confirm your appointment within 2 business days. Grenlec, energizing our Grenada.
This is a message from the Ministry of Health. If you or a family member suspect that you may have contracted COVID-19 and are displaying symptoms, please immediately self-isolate at home. This means that you must also avoid all contact with other members of your household. Do not visit hospitals or health centers, as this creates the potential for further spread of the virus, and it puts additional persons at risk when you come into contact with them. Your best course of action is to call the COVID-19 hotline at 458-4787 or 538-4787, or contact your nearest health center or medical station. Once your information has been received, health officials will come to you. Help prevent the spread of COVID-19. This has been a message from the Ministry of Health.
GBN Television News at 7, a pulse on all things Grenadian. Look out for our new features through expanded synergies with our media partners in Barbados, St. Lucia, Jamaica, Trinidad, and beyond. Capturing the latest in news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Credible, informative. Thank you for making us number 1. News at 7, live, Monday to Friday on GBN Television, Channel 7 and 11. K105.5 and 105.9, Hot 98.5 and 98.7, GBN Television Facebook page and YouTube channel, and www.gbn.gd. GBN, with you anywhere and everywhere.
Need a quick, convenient way to pay your bills and avoid lines? Use the online banking feature from Republic Bank, First Caribbean, or Co-op Bank. Contact them today to set up your online banking and enjoy 24-hour convenience to make your bill payments. Stay safe. Grenlec, we are united even when we are apart.
Hey folks, you're invited to tune in to Grenada Music to the World program, hosted by Eugene Gittens on Saturday mornings from 10 a.m. to 12 noon on Classic Radio 105.5, 105.9, Hot FM 98.5, 98.7, GBN TV, and all their social media platforms. the only totally local music program in Grenada, representing all genres of music. So it's Green's Music to the World on Saturday mornings from 10 a.m. to 12 noon on GBN with the music icon himself, Mr. Eugene Gittins. See you then.
Welcome back to Good Morning Grenada. It is 18 minutes after the hour of 7 o'clock. Those of you just joining us, happy to have you. Those of you stuck with us, thank you for your patience. Come in, welcome. This morning, it's Friday. I know this is when we usually do the showroom, but considering the past few weeks that we've been having, we're just going to postpone showroom until next week, God willing, and discuss something that I think is very important: mental health, mental capacity, happiness, feelings, and how to deal with it as we go through, especially this wave of COVID-19 in Grenada. Joining me virtually is I will call him our in-house clinical psychologist, Dr. Augustine Panchoo, and he's going to give us some tips on how we can cope, especially as we go to a lockdown weekend, our second consecutive lockdown weekend. There might be third and fourth, but just in case, let's just stick to the second for now. Good morning, Doc, and welcome once again. Always appreciate when you can share with us.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much, Blossom. Good morning, and good morning to you and all of our listeners. And I'm hoping that those who are listening and those who are watching us are staying healthy and doing everything in their powers to just cope with what this tragedy has brought to Grenada and the entire world, of course. But we're speaking specifically this morning about Grenada. We are in a very tense period of our history, and it's really important that we have this talk this morning. So thank you for having me.
Appreciate it. So like I said when I started, the COVID-19 pandemic has really brought the issue of mental health to the fore. And for us in Grenada, I think it has been relatively easy going up until about a month ago, when everything came to a head and we're recording figures in the triple figures almost on a daily basis. And just this week I was listening to a program or another interview, and it was a doctor, and she was speaking about the mental strain this is taking on people worldwide. They have seen people without any mental issues before having mental issues now, some of them having suicidal thoughts, and it coincided with some of the tips that I've been seeing you share on social media in relation to dealing with this stressful period. So that's what we're going to deal with: how to deal with your feelings, especially the people who are, one, afflicted with the virus, and two, who are dealing with deaths of people close to them. So let's sum it up before we go into the specifics. Let's sum it up of how to deal with your feelings during this time, this COVIDious times.
Yeah. Thank you. Very good question. Let me just add a little, and this is by no means to scare anybody, but this is so as to bring us to reality. Because a lot of times, when we experience these horrific situations, and as in the case of this pandemic, we are troubled, and people think that, well, we shouldn't talk about the real figures, we shouldn't talk about the real thing. Let's stay positive. Well, we could only stay positive in light of what we know about the current situation. I believe so. I believe in knowledge and an appreciation for the current situation helps us to be better able to gauge our behavior, especially when it comes to the way we approach the protocols and the wearing of the masks and the sanitization and the constant washing of hands and the limiting of gatherings, whether it is small or large gatherings. So I think when we look at what is happening currently, the trend, Blossom, I posted something. Within the last 2 weeks, we have averaged 3 deaths every day.
within the last 2 weeks. So the last 14 days, we're up to 46, the last figures this morning or last night. We're up to 46 deaths. 2 weeks ago, we were one, and then we had a second one. And it seems as overnight, we are faced with 3 deaths averaging every day. And for a small population like ours, it becomes scary, and people are anxious and people are worried. Now you see a lot of people, and I say a lot, I can't quantify the lot, but you see some people doing as though and going about behaviors as nonchalantly as is. I think part of the reason is because they are so scared, they want to be brave. So when people want to be brave, they do risky behaviors and rash things in an effort to appease the ego in them, making people believe, most of people, not for them, really, but putting on a facade, a mask that we wear, so that the world could think, oh, he looks brave, but really inside there is turmoil and there is uneasiness. And there is a lot of anxiety going on. And so this morning, I want to be empathetic and sympathetic to those who have lost loved ones. And I think we all do. We have long passed the stage, Blossom, where we say, I told you so. You're paying for your deeds and your reluctance and hesitation, whether it is wearing of the mask or distancing or gatherings, or whether it is not taking any vaccination. So it is really at this time, we have passed the stage of blaming, of shaming, of pointing fingers. We are now at the stage where we are starting to grieve. We have lost 46 people to COVID. It is a time for our nation to grieve. These are 46 families. Families in Grenada are usually very large families. And as a result, you can multiply 46 times a lot of numbers. So we can see, yesterday we lost the teaching fraternity, the Ministry of Education lost a young man also. The clergy, the religious community have lost several people. We have lost students. We have lost young people. We have lost the geriatric community is grieving because we've lost several people. So really and truly, we are at a stage where we have to engage in a lot of hopeful, positive thinking. And Blossom, I submit this morning, a lot of prayers. There is something, Blossom, about COVID and the way people die and the way people get infected and the way people recover. There is a lot of mystery about it, and the science is not as precise as we probably would like to see it, but that's science, and so there is something strange, and I use the word loosely. Strange is it's a non-scientific way. You can't quantify it, but there's something strange about everything about COVID. And Blossom, we are a population, when things are strange, when we cannot fathom, when we cannot think, when we have no answers, we go to the source of power and the one who created us. So we go to God. And so I joined with Bishop Batiste and the other religious community that a few nights ago on Beyond the Headlines really encourage people to start praying. And now I think on the 25th and 26th are going to be 2 days of somber reflection. So I'm saying all of that to introduce where we are going to go this morning and where our nation probably needs to go and focus a whole lot on.
One of the tips that you shared on Facebook stood out to me because it says, it is normal to feel sad, stressed, confused, scared, or angry during a crisis. And I think a lot of people don't recognize that those are normal feelings to feel at this time, and it's not something that you should be ashamed of. Right.
And so there are several tips that I want to leave with our audience today and leave with us. And inculcate it myself and take it into the way I operate and the way I do business. And so I want to talk about one of the very first things that we can do in this tense, anxious-filled environment as we have right now is to talk. Talk to people about your feelings. A lot of times, Blossom, people are reluctant or hesitant to talk about feelings because of a few things. One, they do not understand the feelings that they're having. They can't identify it. They are feeling feelings, watch this, emotional response, and they are unable to identify it. Sometimes, so one, an inability to identify feelings, the feeling that they're having, put a pinpoint on it and say exactly what it is. Sometimes they are experiencing feelings. They may be able to identify it, but they are scared about the feelings that they're having. Okay? In other words, a parent is supposed to be strong. If you have children and the children see you crying or they see the worried look on your face, you are scared that feelings and those emotions that you're experiencing will translate in a negative way to people who are looking on. So sometimes we're scared to express the feelings. And then there is a third one that I want to talk about immediately, is that sometimes people are confused about the feelings that they're experiencing. And let me tell you what that means. And I see you smile because I know. So here is what people sometimes are confused about. We all have values, right? And a lot of our values come from the Judeo-Christian perspective that we have, Christians. So we have certain things about kindness and altruism, giving without wanting, and reciprocity and all the fun stuff. But watch this. When we have certain feelings and we are able to identify the emotions or the feelings that we're having, and then we realize, boy, those feelings here look as though it contradicts what the pastor is saying or what the values I have. A lot of Christians believe that we shouldn't be angry. So if you're getting angry, you start thinking, oh boy, I'm so confused. Is it anger? Is it something different? I can identify it. Is it the devil? Right. So where is it coming from? That is not of God. No, listen, let me tell you this. So a lot of people sometimes, when you have those feelings that they are, and I'm saying all of these, whether they are not able to identify it and pinpoint what it is, or whether they're scared about the feelings that they're having and don't want to share, or whether they are confused about the feelings and emotions. I am saying all of this to allow people to get the opportunity and plant the seed that when those experiences are yours, that you should reach out to somebody. That's a good time to be able to express your feelings. And you may say, well, what are some of the feelings and emotions that I might be having that I might be confused or embarrassed about? Well, feelings of being fearful, feelings of being scared, feelings of being embarrassed, feelings of being powerless. Can you imagine a husband who has lost his job over COVID, or maybe got sick, or is getting sick, or feel he is getting sick, and or has a sense that somebody on his work site or her work site got tested positive, and so now the entire operations need to be shut down? What does that translate? Fearfulness about bread and butter, flour and sugar. You understand what I'm saying? So you feel powerless and you're scared, you're petrified to express those feelings. So feelings of being overwhelmed. Can you imagine our ministers, for example? And interestingly, I responded to one of our ministers recently who wrote on her time or FaceTime, I'm depressed. I remember. And I thought that was really brave. That was really brave. And so I reached out to her. And one, because she's my friend. Secondly, when someone reaches out and say, I'm depressed, they are expressing some deep feelings about the current situation. And so when people are overwhelmed, they might just be reluctant to share those feelings. Because you know what, Blossom? There are people who are going to say, but you are the minister. You are the Governor General. You are the Prime Minister. You are the host of the Today Show and To The Point program, Blossom. You are not supposed to be overwhelmed. You smile too great and your personality is so flamboyant to feel depressed. Another feeling and emotion that people have is that of depression and anxiety, and they're scared about it. So my recommendation this morning about talking in this COVIDious time, talk to someone. And it may not necessarily have to be finding a professional, a psychologist, a therapist. And now Grenada has been blessed. I mean, we have some beautiful people in the Ministry of Education and in the social support unit of the Ministry of Social Services who are ready and willing to take your cause and to talk with you. But look for ordinary people in your family, people that you trust, people in your religious community, your neighbors that you really trust, that you confide in, the friend. Now is a good time, Blossom, to reach out and to express your feelings. I am feeling hurt. I'm feeling ambivalent, a big word which simply means I'm uncertain. I am feeling powerless. I'm feeling embarrassed. I'm angry. You know, somebody told me yesterday that I am really angry. You know why? Because I did everything within my power and I'm testing positive. Everything. I wore my mask. I sanitized. I was very skeptical about crowd. I got, but I'm positive. And so there is a sense of horror, but also there is a sense of anger because the virus came from somewhere. Okay? So tip number one this morning is talk. Talk to a friend, talk to somebody, and even talk to Jesus, right?
And something that has helped me, Doc, is talking to myself. I have been in situations where I would not keep it in my mind, but I would talk aloud. And even if there was nobody there, but it helped me. Can that work for other people as well? Can they try that if there's nobody that they feel like they can trust to go to? Or is it not advised?
No. Beautiful question. You are the psychologist this morning. A lot of it is rubbing off from me, right? I suspect.
I agree.
But listen, we call that in psychotherapeutic and counseling circles self-talk. When you start talking yourself, you see some people, Blossom, on the bus or in the line or on the street, and they're walking and they're talking to themselves. Similarly, this is what we call self-talk. Now, there are some people who talk to themselves because they're hearing voices. That's all I'm saying. So self-talk, positive self-talk, is how a lot of us get along and get ahead in our day. We talk our way through things. So it is good to talk to yourself. It is good to have in your mind a vision for what it is that you want and work towards it mentally. There is the old saying, the adage that says, whatever the mind can conceive, you can achieve. So if you start telling yourself about it in your mind, there is a likelihood, Blossom, it's going to blossom in your life.
Okay, just making sure I wasn't, adding to the stress.
No, you're not.
Another tip that you shared was the thing or things that you may rely on to cope, specifically things not to rely on. Don't use smoking or alcohol to deal with your emotions. And this is something that we've been hearing, but still there are people who rely on these activities to cope.
Yeah.
What alternative can we use? It's easy to say don't smoke and don't drink, but there are some people who feel like they can't help it. How can we help them switch the way that they cope?
Very good question. And that is probably the most significant point I want to stress on. So I'm going to spend a little time on this. Yes, in times of stress, in times of uncertainty, people go to what is most comfortable for them. So if you are in toxic relationship, whether it's at home or at work, or you are struggling through things, people want to what we call self-soothe. Now we introduced this morning self-talk, which is great. Self-soothing is also a great way to calm your fears. But sometimes people indulge in harmful substances to self-soothe. Okay? What a baby does, Blossom, most babies, when they are in stressful situation, they suck their thumb. Right? Mm-hmm. They self-soothe. You see, 2-year-old and 3-year-old have what is called a transitional object. They will have a blanket. It doesn't matter how dirty that blanket is. They walk through the house. If you are taking them somewhere and they forgot the blanket, they will make a fuss because they want to carry that blanket or that little teddy toy with them. That's how you self-soothe. There are many people who have wired their brain to believe that I need to self-soothe with a cigarette, with some weed, with alcohol, with food, with sex. And I'm not saying that all of these are bad, right? I am just saying some of them do have the negative impact on us. So if you self-soothe with a lot of food, increased calorie intake means increased body fat and body weight and diabetes and et cetera, et cetera. If you self-soothe with alcohol, you can become an alcoholic. Not everybody who drinks alcohol does become an alcoholic, but there is a predisposition. If you start smoking, there is a likelihood you can become a chain smoker. So we have to be very cautious what we self-soothe with and how we self-soothe. So I want to introduce maybe my greatest point for this discussion this morning, Blossom. I believe we are in a war. Okay, I'm going to pause and I'm going to say it, and I'm going to say it very forceful. We are in a war. We are in a war with COVID. And you know what happens in a war, Blossom? What happens in a war is that we have to look for unconventional ways to win. We can't lose. We can't fall on our backs and say, okay, COVID is here, I give up. No, I am too young and you are too beautiful, Blossom, for us to give up. So we are going to look for any means necessary, according to Malcolm X, to win this war. Okay? And so I want to submit this morning that we Grenadians go on what I call a nutritional war. Now, maybe the phrase of nutritional war might be unique to what we are talking about here, but I am not the originator of the quest and the thrust for us to eat healthy. This is not mine. It has been there from creation, okay? God's first diet to man was a plant-based diet. And I want to submit this morning quickly because we don't have a whole lot of time. And this is not a lecture of 2 hours. I want to submit to us this morning that all of the colorful foods that we have in our backyard or we have in the neighbor's backyard that we just neglect, should become the greater or the greatest portion of every plate or every calabash that we put in front of us. Whether it is green or yellow or orange or red or purple, whatever the colors are, the more colorful the food is, it is the better for us. So we have to go on a nutritional war. Gone are the days where you cook just rice and stew chicken. That can't be your diet to fight COVID. Your body is just a waiting receptacle for the virus because there is nothing to fight, because we can't fight COVID with arms and muscles. It doesn't matter how good you look, Blossom, or how muscular you are, or how thin or fat you are, or obese. We are no match for COVID. So we have to fight unconventionally fight. So we have to be creative in what we eat. We have to drink a lot of water. We have to whether it is smoothie, whether it is just watching leaves of spinach and cabbage leaves we just have to grind them, or we just have to cook them. So now is the time for all Grenadians to utilize all the green stuff behind the house, in front of the house, in the parking lot, wherever we find them, and utilize them. This is what I call the nutritional war. This is where the body's immune. Because Blossom, it was Junior last night. Junior just posted one thing the middle of the night, and it reminded me of how awesome this is. There are over 900 people who recovered. Watch this, Blossom. Who recovered from the 2,500 that we had active, right? 900 of those recovered. It means that the second or the third COVID test showed that they were negative. Something has to be good for them and for the rest of us. I don't know what it is because the research hasn't been done on them, so I don't know. Scientifically, I can't say if it is their nutrition or if it is their body or if it is their positive attitude to fight. Whatever it is good news for Grenada, because Blossom, it tells us that if you get infected, you do not die or may not have to die. You could recover. So hopefully that these people were eating a lot of green and yellow and red and orange, or hopefully they had built their immune system with a lot of lime and lemon. Blossom, it irks me when I see many Grenadians still drinking Panchoo and Kool-Aid. It really does irk me, okay? Because there are no nutritional values, established nutritional values in these drinks, whether it is the Tang, the lemonade, the Kool-Aid, the orange juice in the can, the grapefruit juice in the can. Yeah, when you look at the contents, you'll say, oh, a bottle of Welch's. And that's your name. I'm using your name this morning. And we think, and then you look at the sugar content in the label and you realize 1 glass of Welch's grape juice is so potent in the amount of sugar. And generally, Blossom, the kinds of sugar that is put in all these canned and bottled drinks are refined sugar. It's not black sugar, it's not molasses, and it is not brown sugar. It is the refined white sugar. So you can imagine. And I am not a dietitian, I am not a trained nutritionist, but I have read enough to understand and to know that refined products, whether it is sugar, flour, and or pasta, it's really not good for the body. I mean, we eat it and we drink it. We like the cake and we like the macaroni pie or the macaroni and cheese, but those must be once in a while products, okay? It can't be every day. The nutritional war is what is going to help our new immune system and help us to fight this COVID.
Let's take a quick break, Dr. Panchoo, and then we're going to come back and continue. And I'm going to ask you about something that I saw at least 2 people post in the past week. Hold on, we'll be right back. This is Good Morning Grenada, dealing with what we're going through, the COVIDious times. We'll be right back.
Are you looking for quality herbs and herbal supplements, or are you thinking about having a complete body cleanse to jumpstart your health? Then no need to look further. Visit Nirvana Natural Health Clinic, Detox Center, and Natural Health Store. We carry a wide range of herbal products for kidney and gallstone cleansing, male sexual enhancement formulas, asthma and sinusitis, gas and bloating, acid reflux, constipation, arthritis, imbalanced hormones, female health issues, liver cleansing, weight loss, and so much more. Also available, colonic irrigation, holistic health consultations, essential oils, and diffusers. Look out for our online natural health store coming soon. Call 231-6642 for 18-7115 or 449-7753 to find out about our delivery options or to book an appointment. Visit us at Belmont St. George's, close to the Foliage, Monday to Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Nirvana Natural Health Clinic. Detox your way to health.
Imagine having the home of your dreams. Imagine investing in that piece of property you can call your own. Imagine finally doing that home improvement project you've always been thinking about. It's time to stop imagining and start doing. Let the GUT Credit Union help you take the first step with fantastic rates, affordable repayments, and reduced legal fees. Make the move. Get better terms on your mortgage. Use your home equity to make those dreams a reality. Act now. There's really no place like home. GUT Credit Union. It's where you belong.
State-of-the-art Ultratech gasoline and diesel, available only at Rubis stations.
Welcome back to Good Morning Grenada. We're speaking with clinical psychologist Dr. Augustine Panchoo and how to deal with the mental health, how to cope mentally as we go through this wave of COVID-19 pandemic in Grenada. Doc, I told you I wanted to ask you something that I've seen at least two people post. Yesterday, a family member of mine posted, and then this came, I think it was about 2 days prior to that, I saw somebody posted a different formatted. But the question really is, how do you cope when you're tired of being the strong one? And that takes me back to a comment you made in the beginning of especially parents with children, and you don't want the children to see you breaking down. But sometimes you just get tired of being the backbone. How can you cope? Because everybody has to grieve.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. 2 nights ago, listening in the news, I think, either last night or 2 nights ago, Kristalina introduced the Elizabeth Kubler-Ross and her 5 stages of grief. And if you've listened to me before, you have heard me referencing her. There is no question that the strong will break. There is a part of all of us that must grieve, should grieve. And I'm using 2 very strong words, must and should. In other words, there are many people who can fake it. They can wear a mask of strength, but internally they are torn and they're tired and they're giving up, but they just can't let the outside world. And very often, Blossom, these are the people who self-harm. These are the people, and I'm not saying everybody, but I'm saying a greater part of the population who are able to mask their anxiety, the stressors in their life. When they reach a breaking point, out of embarrassment to self and to allow the world into their distress, they self-harm. They tend to hurt self, suicide, or attempted suicide. So that's why, Blossom, I say to people, it doesn't matter how strong you are. And very often we miss this point. I have several friends who look out for me on a daily basis. They will send me a message. They will call. How are you doing? We need you, cause if we don't want to see you break. And that's refreshing, because you would think those of us who are psychologists and or clinicians and or therapists and counselors, we are helping people. We are there taking all the Zoom calls and going to homes. Well, right now, all the visitation in office and visitation in homes have been curtailed. But right now, we are using virtual means to reach out to people constantly throughout the day. My phone never stopped ringing. I have to. So I have to stay strong. So the question is, when a strong person reaches the breaking point, how does he or she deal? Or what are some things that he or she needs to recognize to be able to deal with that point in their life? Let me say this, yeah? We must not always want to be strong. But some people are not going to like the statement. There are no superhuman beings, you know. It doesn't matter how intelligent you are, how articulate you are, how pleasant you are. Never pretend, never portray to yourself and to the world that you are infallible and you cannot break and you are this strong person made of metal. No, you are not. Today you are, tonight you are no longer. You are in the hands of somebody waiting to put you 6 foot underground. That's the life. So for those of you who think you are superhuman, superwoman, Spider-Man, Clark, whomever, Iron Man, whomever, 007, you are not. Okay? Chadwick played his part well, but he wasn't able. He is no longer with us. He succumbed to an illness. Those of us who think we are really strong and we are now wanting to express it, and we're so overwhelmed but vulnerable to the point where we are hiding it, we are going to get sick on the inside. We are going to get emotionally sick, and then it's going to translate to physiological illnesses that may not last real long. Okay? So stay hopeful, Blossom. Positive vibes and positive thoughts is one way to go. But be realistic with the current statistics and the current situation. Do everything in our power to reduce incidence of infection, reduce the stress that it will bring on you and your family. I want to introduce one thing for people who are struggling. You need to be strong. Every now and again, if you think you need to be strong, bless your soul. There is nothing I may say that will prevent you from not crying in front of your loved ones, because maybe you really do need to be strong. Maybe that's important. But in the quiet and in your closet and in the secret time of your experience, I want you to do this. I want you to learn to do deep breathing. Blossom, I'm going to introduce it today, and I want to show you how to do it. So go ahead, Blossom. Here is how I teach deep breathing, and that's the just basic, I'll go deeper into it. But put your hands down by your side. Just let your hands loose as though it's flaccid and has no energy and no muscles. You will start feeling a little tenseness, a little lightness on your shoulders. All right, do not cross your leg. Just let your leg sit flat on the sole of your feet, both feet. Just have it flat on the ground. Your arms just flinging and flaying. And if you choose, Blossom, just close your eyes a little so that you are not distracted by the pictures on the wall or the people outside. Just let your body just play for a little while. And then I want you to think with me right now and go to a happy place. It might be a happy scenery, whether it's the beach, maybe the face of your mom, maybe a nice place in your house, maybe the mountainside, maybe the river. Just look for a very quiet, nice, peaceful place in your experience. Your arms are flayed on the side, your feet are on the ground. Do not put pressure on your feet. Just lay your feet there loosely and your arms loosely. And I want you to breathe in through your nose and hold it for a few seconds and then breathe out through your mouth. So let's do this one time. Breathe in through your nose. Hold it for as long as you can. Remember, keep your arms just flaying on the side and your feet just loose on the ground. And do that for about 10 times. Blossom, do that. Just breathe in and hold it for as long as you can hold it. And then slowly breathe it out. And do that for about 10, 15 times. And I tell you this, deep breathing, and that's just basic 101 breathing. If you can really successfully do that, I have had people that I'm teaching breathing, and by the time they get to 10 breaths, they're falling asleep. So for those who think that they need to be strong, can't cry in front of people, in the quietness and the quietude of your experience, do some deep breathing.
I like the breathing tip. I've done only 4 and already I feel relaxed.
You are going to feel it, bro. You are going to feel it, Blossom. You are going to feel it.
I appreciate
Don't clench
you
your
so
fist.
much.
Just let your arms flay. All right. So we are to the end now, right?
Yes, we are. Any
Right.
contact information you can quickly share for people who may want to reach out, whether it's for you or a hotline?
Oh, certainly. And you can always share our number on the screen, Blossom. The Psychosocial Support Unit of the Ministry of Social Development. The number is 440-4787. Somebody is going to take your call, and one of us will respond to you as soon as we could. Right now, we are inundated with a lot of calls. My personal number, of course, that anyone could reach at any time, 406-3601. And let me end with a few final words if you have 30 seconds to spare.
Yes.
So we talk about talking to people, talking to someone, talking to self-talk. We talk about nutrition. The war on our diet must come to play. Staying positive and helpful, deep breathing. And the last 2 things I just want to quickly just mention as we get out is to try to get a lot of sleep. What is a lot? Just a lot. People say 68 hours. I say as much as you could get, because it rejuvenates our body. Sleep is a time when our body does a few things, right? It builds muscles. Not only does it build muscle and rejuvenate itself, all of our dead cells are replaced by new cells, and the dead cells are flushed out. The kidney gets to function even more, remove all the toxicity from our bodies, and then so you got to get up in the night and urinate and stuff, but we feel good. We wake up in the morning. And also our body produces melatonin, which is good for sleep, and serotonin, which is good for memory and learning. So the more sleep you get is the smarter, Blossom, that you are next day and ready for your online virtual learning. And the last thing I want to say, folks, do something fun for self and with self. Get away from the hustle and bustle and all of the demands that COVID is placing on us and all of the anxiety. Do something fun. Go to the beach, limited hours, but bake. Do the yard, plant, do something fun for self. Watch something funny, tell yourself a joke, and have a good day, Blossom.
Thank you very much, Dr. Panchoo. You have yourself a good day. Continue to stay safe, and all the best. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much. All right, bye-bye.
Clinical psychologist Dr. Augustine Panchoo helping us and teaching us some tips on how we can mentally cope as we go through these COVIDious times. Hopefully it was helpful to each and every one of you. At least the breathing. It helped me. I just did 4. and I already start to feel relaxed. So hopefully it was beneficial to each and every one of you. Thank you for tuning in to Good Morning Grenada. Always appreciate it. Let's now join the BBC for the 8 a.m. newscast, which is currently in progress. Enjoy the rest of your Friday. Remember, lockdown starts, no movement weekend starts at 5 p.m. So anything that you need to do, anything that you need to get, you have just about 8 hours to do so. It's 1 minute after the hour of 8 o'clock. Bye-bye, everybody. Have yourselves a blessed day.
Need a quick, convenient way to pay your bills and avoid lines?